Welcome, everyone. I'm Tamara, the VP of Product at Klue, and I will be your guide today, walking you through what's new in Klue. Joined here by several of our esteemed product managers, Kevin, Taylor, Aleem, Jessica, and Isabel, who will be taking you through what their teams have been working on. But first, I want to thank all of you for your engagement with Klue, the insightful feedback you send us via your CSMs, our product portal, or in conversations directly with our product team. Your contributions are shaping our future. And today, I'm here to share how. At Klue, our vision is to combine market, competitor, and buyer insights to equip teams with the personalized insights they need to win in their market. Our acquisition of DoubleCheck Research in 2023 provided our clients with robust buyer intelligence to fulfill the buyer pillar of this vision, but we feel that we can do better than this. This year, at the heart of our product roadmap lies an initiative that we're calling Always On Win-Loss. What if we could transform win-loss analysis from a periodic review into a continuous living stream of insights? That's exactly what Always On Win-Loss aims to achieve. So we're introducing a three-pronged approach to achieve this. We're starting with Buyer Pulse. So Buyer Pulse is conceived with the vision of going beyond traditional point-in-time research to offer a real-time, continuous stream of buyer insights. Our aim is to empower your teams with an ongoing stream of data that highlights changes in buyer needs, perceptions, and decision-making processes, enabling you to quickly identify changing trends. In our quest to empower our clients with comprehensive buyer intelligence, we're also introducing the Bring Your Own Transcripts initiative. So whether you have a repository of historical win-loss data, or another team is responsible for win-loss in your organization, or you're using another vendor altogether, this data is still a valuable source of insights for your compete program, and we want to make it easy for you to realize its value within Klue. By embracing your existing research, we're not just adding to our data, we're enhancing the way you compete and win in the marketplace. About 40% of our clients have taken the initiative to actually run win-loss programs internally. Through our research, though, we've identified a common challenge with this, which is the operational heavy lifting of running these programs. We've recognized this gap, which means we're excited to introduce our third key pillar, which is DIY win-loss within Klue. This is a direct response to the needs of our clients, offering a streamlined platform that simplifies and enhances the process of conducting win-loss interviews in-house. We do the heavy lifting, you just show up and run the interview. So together with the robust win-loss interview capabilities that Klue already provides through our in-house research team, these three steps will enable all of our clients to leverage buyer insights to power their competitive programs. All data, whether from interviews or your own initiatives, flows seamlessly into Klue, enriching your insights and fueling your compete efforts. This holistic approach exemplifies our dedication to equipping you with personalized, actionable intelligence. And all of this information flows into our second big initiative for the year. This is really a significant leap forward with automated insights valued by sellers. What are automated insights, you might ask? These are facts derived from AI-powered analysis, seek to understand the nuances between competitors that enable companies to win more deals. Think the strengths and weaknesses that it generated from our Review Insights module. Or in other words, magic. Automated insights significantly reduce the analysis and the content creation workload on curators. By leveraging AI to analyze and synthesize data, Klue enables curators to focus on strategic decision-making rather than getting bogged down in the minutiae of data processing. The ability to quickly analyze vast amounts of data and extract meaningful insights is a competitive advantage. Automated Insights offers this by processing information faster than humanly possible, while uniquely focusing on competitive differentiation, ensuring that businesses can react to market changes with agility. Building on the achievements we've had in automating the discovery of competitor strengths and weaknesses, and more on that will be shared as we talk about what's being released, we're now turning our focus toward a critical aspect of competitive intelligence, understanding the reasons behind your wins and losses. Our win-loss initiative serves as a rich reservoir of data, offering a foundation from which we can generate these automated insights. But even in the absence of a formal win-loss program, we're able to glean indicators by doing things like comparing competitor strengths and weaknesses that we've extracted from online reviews, or by analyzing the notes from your CRM to find themes. Naturally, the more comprehensive your data set is, the more nuanced and impactful the insights we can provide. But this approach not only enriches your understanding of the competitive landscape, but also equips you with the knowledge to strategically navigate your market, ensuring that every piece of intelligence that you gather adds to your sales efforts. Sales calls represent another rich yet often underutilized reservoir of competitive intelligence. Throughout the life cycle of a deal, prospects divulge a wealth of information that, if harnessed correctly, can significantly bolster your compete program. By intelligently analyzing sales calls, we can capture competitor mentions, sentiment, and crucial context that offers a deeper understanding of the competitive forces at play in your deals effortlessly. This process not only unveils common objections for targeted enablement, but also illuminates prospect use cases, potential pitfalls, effective talk tracks, and insights shared about competitors. All of these insights can be automatically extracted, enriching your compete efforts without requiring a heavy lift on your part. All right, so we automated a bunch of insights. Get it, right? You still somehow have to turn those insights into great battle cards that help your sales team. So let's talk a little bit about that. We call it the Compete Composer. So imagine a world where creating battle cards, updating competitor profiles, and crafting targeted messaging is not just efficient, but insightful. The Compete Composer makes this a reality, offering suggestions and automating content creation, allowing you to validate and fine-tune as needed. Ultimately, it will pave the way for your content to operate on autopilot. Welcome to the next level of competitive intelligence, where strategy meets efficiency and insights drive action. More on this, again, as we get into what we're releasing soon. Our ultimate aim is actually to progressively automate your content management, transitioning into autonomous car mode, especially for those long-tail competitors that currently fall off your radar because nobody has time to deal with the 125th competitor that's popping up. Question we pose is, can Klue achieve a level of good enough content that earns your trust, allowing us to autonomously maintain it for you over time? Now, you might have noticed that we haven't directly addressed sellers just yet, and our initiative was called Automated Insights Valued by Sellers. So rest assured, they're at the forefront of our strategy. So the essence of our automation efforts is deeply rooted in addressing the immediate needs of sellers. Our primary objective has been to perfect the creation of content that resonates with what sellers are actively seeking. Once we achieve excellence in helping you craft this content, our next step is to master the art of delivering it directly to them in the most effective manner possible. Introducing Compete GPT, a game changer in competitive intelligence, designed to meet the dynamic needs of modern sales environments. This cutting-edge tool leverages generative AI, transforming how sales teams access and utilize competitive insights, acting as an on-demand analyst for daily sales queries. Focused on empowering sellers, Compete GPT eliminates the hurdles in accessing strategic insights, providing immediate, tailored responses directly relevant to active deals and competitors. It goes beyond answering queries, anticipating the seller's needs by context, ensuring that only pertinent information is delivered to advance those deals effectively. Compete GPT isn't just a tool, it's your competitive edge, crafted to put you ahead in the competitive sales landscape. The Automated Insights initiative unfolds in 4 strategic steps, each designed to enhance your competitive edge through automation and AI. First, we generate automated insights, leveraging AI to alleviate the burdens of analysis and content creation. Next, we introduce the Compete Composer, an AI-assisted tool that revolutionizes content creation, making the process more efficient and insightful. This tool is a bridge towards achieving a seamless flow of competitive intelligence, directly informing sales strategies with minimal manual intervention. Then, Compete GPT transforms competitive intelligence access and utilization for sales teams, not only anticipating and answering sellers' questions with precision, but also ensuring that the most relevant and strategic information is directly at their fingertips. And lastly, we aim to transition your content management into autonomous car mode, starting with the long tail of your competitors and moving towards a system where Klue autonomously maintains high-quality content that you trust. Together, these steps embody our commitment to empowering your sales teams with the insights they need when they need them, crafting a future where your competitive strategy is as dynamic and responsive as the market itself. So our roadmap is not just about new features. It's about creating a more connected, intuitive, and powerful platform that serves your strategic needs. We're excited about this future and committed to ensuring that our product evolves in ways that truly empower your success. All right, now that we've shared what we're trying to get through this year and our vision for the future, let's turn it over to what's actually happening right now. And for that, we're going to start by turning it over to Kevin, who is our product manager for our win-loss initiative, to talk about win-loss.
Perfect. Thanks, Tamara. So more tactically, Tamara did a great job of setting up Buyer Pulse and what our grander vision is for that. I think if we bring it to the lived experience, a couple of the things that we hear in a lot of conversations are people that are running these win-loss programs or buyer intelligence programs are strapped for time, and this whole act of managing outreach at scale, whether that be for surveys or whether that's for interviews, is really difficult and time consuming. In addition to this, one of the things that we hear very frequently is the fact that the interviews that we can conduct through Klue's research team are fantastic, but they only shed light on a very small subset of your deal pipeline, sometimes only touching 1, 2, 3, maybe even up to 10% of the deals that you're working on. So the premise behind Buyer Pulse, as Tamara again alluded to, is putting your finger on the pulse of the broader deal pipeline. And this feature is really designed to address those concerns by helping with the automation of the delivery of these surveys, collecting qualitative feedback from buyers so that we can trend that for you, and really just keying in on this concept of providing you with more insight into more details so that you can see what's actually happening in your pipeline. So the Buyer Pulse surveys themselves are structured to focus on unearthing buyer motivations. They're designed to discern the key decision-making factors that play into a buying decision, and then finally provide a snapshot of the competition that were active in the deal. So in terms of key functional highlights, if we take this down a step further, one of the things that I mentioned is this idea of automating the delivery of curated qualitative surveys. These are going to be triggered by deals that are coming through your opportunity connection with Klue via Salesforce CRM today and other CRMs tomorrow. From there, we use the surveys to collect the qualitative buyer feedback, and then we pass that through Klue's AI to do the thematic analysis and find the trends in the quantification inside of the survey responses. And on top of all of this, we're working with you through the entire setup process to set up eligibility rules in terms of what opportunities come into the system, as well as eligibility rules for which opportunities actually receive an automated outreach. And finally, another key part here is we've heard a lot in conversations that your CRM data scares the ever-living crap out of you in terms of what is actually in there. So we're introducing in the first version a rep confirmation or a rep outreach step. So before we automate any surveys to any buyers or any of your customers, a notification is going to be sent to the sales rep that owns the opportunity. They will be able to confirm the details for the person to whom we send the survey, and they'll also be able to opt the opportunity out of contact or outreach if it's just cruft in the system, if they're still nurturing the deal, or any one of the 1,000 other reasons why closed won or closed loss isn't necessarily closed won or closed loss in your CRM. In terms of timing, we're aiming to have this live by the end of April, so that's something to look forward to. If you are interested in something like this, we can get you on the wait list. We'll put something in the chat so that you can click and follow that and make sure that that's available. So let's skip forward. I'll take a minute here. We'll pull up one of our demo sites and I can show you what this looks like in practice. Okay, so let's jump in and have a look at what Buyer Pulse looks like in Klue. So I'm on my research dashboard here in Klue, and the first thing I'll notice that's new is that I do have this Opportunities tab, which is now available in the menu. If I click on Opportunities, I will get a list of deals. All of these deals are being pulled through our CRM data sync. So if you've connected Salesforce via the Salesforce Opportunity Sync to the application, we will bring all of that in. If you're not using Salesforce, we can work with you to find other methods and ways to get your data into the application. So that's just a conversation that we can have with you as part of the onboarding process. The other thing to note on this screen is that this is a filtered view of opportunities that's coming from your CRM. So as part of the onboarding process and the initial configuration, we'll hit some qualification rules that will filter only the specific opportunities that you want to have a look at. And then in the case of the demo that we're going to walk through today, what we are seeing is the manual process. So we will initiate and step through that. However, everything that I'm going to show you from this screen in terms of like getting opportunities out and initiating the process can also be automated. So again, during the onboarding, once we're comfortable with the data sync and we've gone through a couple of opportunities and outreach and we're in a good place, we'll work with you again to define the specific automation criteria that you would like. And then everything that we show you here in terms of like going in and initiating a survey can just happen on a near real-time basis. So bringing it back to the manual workflow, or at least where we're going to start, anytime I click on an opportunity record in the application, I get my deal detail panel here, so I can see all of the details that have been mapped or uploaded from my CRM data as it relates to the opportunity, the account, the specific sales rep who's on the opportunity. Again, this is some demo data, so the CRM notes aren't maybe as rich, but again, if we are mapping your CRM notes, you'll be able to see those in here and then make some decisions on how you want to action these. If you're running multiple programs, we can make suggestions and direct outreach so that the research funnels into the relevant program. In this case, because we just have the one win-loss program, we are tied into that, and then we can initiate the sending or initiate the workflow from the application. So if I click Send Survey, what's going to happen is behind the scenes, this is going to initiate an email or trigger an email. And the first email that goes out is what goes to our sales rep. So we have this seller confirmation workflow. And this is a critical step in the whole outreach process, because what it does is it asks the seller or the sales rep on the opportunity to confirm the outreach details to make sure that we're addressing two major concerns. The first is, who do we actually contact so we get feedback from the right person on the opportunity? And the other piece is just making sure that the opportunity itself is actually eligible for outreach. There's a bunch of different reasons why things might be closed or closed lost. Reps might still be back channeling or nurturing the opportunity and don't necessarily want you to reach out to the account. So this offers them the opportunity to have that moment of inspection. And in the automated process, it's sending these confirmation emails to the reps on your behalf, so you don't have to be part of that back and forth and getting kind of confirmation from the seller to determine whether you should reach out to this contact or not. In this workflow, as with the other email workflow that we'll show you, we do have built-in reminder email sequences and cadences. So if we don't get the seller on the first time because they're busy, we will follow up with them a few times to ask them to confirm these contacts. So as the seller, if I come through, I want to confirm the outreach. I'm presented with a deal outreach confirmation page. Super important to know that this confirmation page is actually pre-login. So you'll notice it didn't actually ask me as a seller to log in to my Klue account. This means that if you have sellers or your entire sales organization isn't set up as a consumer in Klue, it's not going to preclude them from being able to use the feature, and we make it really seamless for them to get to this page. Once on this page, we'll reiterate the deal details, and we ask them to confirm the contact outreach. So if you have contacts mapped to the opportunity and we're getting that in your CRM import, we can pre-populate a list and we can allow them to select. However, if we don't have that, we always have the ability to write in details. So we can always make sure that we get the right person to send the email to collect the buyer pulse survey from. So here I'll click on LaRue, and just really quickly, I'm going to do a couple of things on the screen. So first, I'm going to change this system generated email to mine, just so that I can actually receive the email. And then the other thing that's fun on this page is we do offer the ability for the seller to add a personal note here. So if they did want to type in a little message just to personalize the outreach, they can definitely do that. From this page, they can dismiss the outreach if they don't want us to send a contact or a survey to this person, but we will stay on the happy path here. So we will initiate this outreach. We will confirm to the seller that everything is done and allow us to move on. So if I exit out of this and come back into my inbox, what's happened after that outreach has been confirmed is I now receive another email. So this is, I am the buyer or the purchaser who has worked with Piper. I'm receiving an email from Klue Surveys, and I have a nice piece of outreach here that's personalized to me, lets me know the organization that I was recently interacting with, and also has a nice little personalized note filled in from the sales rep that I was working with, asking me to share my feedback. So as mentioned previously, we do have a reminder email sequence built in here. But for our demo, we will go through as our buyer and we will share our feedback. So we'll come through and we're presented with our buyer pulse or buyer feedback input form. So it's very simple, focused on qualitative buyer feedback, and it's meant to be super easy to fill out and super quick, just so that we can get, again, the pulse of the buyer and understand what was happening in the deal. So here we can key in my survey responses. So we will say that we needed a scalable payment solution. I can continue through in terms of the reasons for not choosing Pied Piper. We can say maybe, we didn't like the POS system. We weren't crazy about the pricing, and we didn't think we had a great sales experience. So that feedback will be collected. We asked them things like, what were the main factors in selecting the winning vendor? So we can provide our feedback on that as well, in terms of, again, like what were the criteria that were important to us when we were going through the deal. And then finally, we get into some of the competitive details. So we want to make sure that you know who the competitors in the deal were. So we'll ask them who made it to their short list. And then the other thing that we can do in here is we can find out, in the case of a loss, who actually was the person that you decided to go with. And again, collecting more competitive intel that we can factor into your program. So once somebody has completed a survey, again, takes only 2 to 5 minutes to complete, super easy, super low touch. We can come out of here and we can go back into Klue. So a couple of things that you'll notice is on this Sanford LLC, if I do reopen this deal, I will have to reload my screen. We'll come back to Sanford. Bear with me here. So if we come back to Sanford, we will see that the survey has been responded to. We have all the respondent details and the ability to go back and view the survey responses. But in addition to that, if I do go into my program, I can navigate to surveys, and I do have a complete library of all of the survey responses that I've received as well. So I can see that this Sanford LLC survey has been completed. It's available in my dashboard. I can click through and I can see all of the verbatim responses. So this is where we're at right now with Buyer Pulse. We are more than happy to open conversations with you. We can start getting your CRM configured. We can start outreach. And then moving into April, we're going to be really heavily focused on getting the dashboarding built for this. So we'll be using Klue AI and the LLMs to analyze and extract trends from these survey Q&As, and then get these thematically grouped and dashboarded so that you can start seeing the overarching trends that are coming out of your surveys in the app. So we're super excited about this. We hope you are too, and we'll have more news on that in the coming weeks and months as it starts to hit the market. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. And now I want to turn it over to Aleem, who is the product manager for our Automated Insights initiative. So all things insight that we can derive from Klue data.
All right, so we have some exciting updates to share coming to Insights. The first is strengths and weaknesses. They're now going to be powered by win-loss. So what does that mean? Well, if you have win-loss with Klue, we're now going to be automatically analyzing your win-loss interviews to power Klue Insights. So previously, those strengths and weaknesses were only looking at the online reviews of your competitors. Now, we're going to be combining those insights with the strengths and weaknesses we find from your win-loss interviews. Also coming to Insights, finally, is multi-product support for reviews. So as we know, large companies like the Salesforces and Microsoft of the world, they have many different individual products and solutions. And it's unlikely that you're competing against all of Salesforce or all of Microsoft. And really, you just care about the specific product line that you compete against. Well, now in Insights, you will be able to filter down to the specific product level to see just the reviews or strengths and weaknesses for that particular product. So Insights has been in beta for the last year, and you may be wondering, when are these new features coming and when can all customers get access to Insights? Well, I am very excited to share that Klue Insights is going into GA and will be available for all customers tomorrow. So again, what does this mean? Strengths and weaknesses. They're now going to be powered by reviews and win-loss. Multi-product support will become available for larger companies, and there's also going to be a new curator navigation experience that Taylor will speak to a little bit later. All right, let's take a live look at the insights. So starting off with the oft-requested multi-product support. So now, for these larger companies like Salesforce and Microsoft, you will be able to filter down the strengths and weaknesses and reviews down to the specific product level. So taking a look at Microsoft here, if you only compete against Microsoft's Defender XDR product, you no longer have to sift through all of the different reviews across all of Microsoft's product. You can focus your analysis at the specific product level. So whether that be Dynamics 365 Business Central or Microsoft Entra ID, now the strengths and weaknesses and reviews are going to be filtered down to the product level. When it comes to strengths and weaknesses, now adding support from win-loss, what exactly does that mean? So previously, you would see strengths and weaknesses that Klue Insights is looking through from online reviews of your competitors. But now that it's going to be also powered by win-loss, in addition to reviews, you can filter down to see what are the strengths and weaknesses we're able to generate when we only look at your win-loss interviews. So in this example here, the unresponsive customer support, as well as the expensive fee structure, have popped up as some of the weaknesses within those win-loss interviews. However, this becomes even more powerful when you combine these insights from both reviews and win-loss. So that is going to be the all sources button here. And this is actually going to be the default view if this competitor has data from both reviews and win-loss. So now these strengths and weaknesses, if I, for instance, click on the weakness of high processing fees, when I go to the sources button here, I'm actually going to see examples of the win-loss interview transcript that is talking about this specific weakness. And I'm also going to see that in tandem with any of the online reviews that are speaking to this as well, whether they come from G2, Capterra, Gartner, etc. And just like before, with strengths and weaknesses, you are able to create an amazing starting point for your battle card by creating a card and sending that to Klue in just a few clicks. So how that works is, let's say for my competitor Stripe here, I want to create a strengths card. I just go ahead and click on the create card button. I'm going to send that to my strengths lane. And I'm going to go ahead and create that card. So what this is going to do for you is provide you the framework and automatically create those top 5 strengths. And when I click onto each of those, it's going to pre-filter for you the what you need to know. It's going to give you a template to fill in what you can say. And it's going to even include example quotes directly from your win-loss program, as well as reviews or social proof that we were able to find to support this particular strength or weakness. And if we flip over to what this looks like for your consumers or sellers, if I go down to this weakness card here, and I want to drill in to delayed fund release. In addition to the content that you saw that was pre-populated for you by Klue Insights, when sellers access these cards, it's also going to automatically include direct links to some of the additional supporting evidence or online reviews that we were able to find. So that is your look at the updated Klue Insights that all Klue customers will have access to tomorrow. We can't wait to hear more about how you use this. And other than that, we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Aleem. Great demo. Super excited about this. Next up, we have Taylor, who is responsible for content creation within Klue. And this is a really exciting initiative that he's going to walk you through.
Thank you, Tamara, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm very excited to talk to you today about the future of content creation in Klue. Over the past couple of months, we've been working extremely hard to significantly improve the way that you can not only draft, edit, and create competitive content through Klue, but also get it published to your sales team. So the feature that we're going to be putting into launching in beta tomorrow is the Compete Composer. This is going to be starting in a closed beta. We'll be opening it up over the next 30 to 45 days. More on that later. And what the Compete Composer will allow folks to do is to go from a competitor being defined to a basic battle card being created and published on that competitor in a fraction of the amount of time that it would take you to do either inside or outside Klue today. And we're doing this by making it possible to layer in Klue's growing list of proprietary insights, like the ones that Aleem and Kevin have already spoken to by combining it with the third-party licensed and publicly available information that Klue already aggregates, and then by making it possible for you to combine that with your own information. You can upload PDFs, files, Word docs, PowerPoints to give the system context. And what this is all going to allow you to do is to go from this process that curators typically spend either hours or days doing today, which is scanning through all these sources, all these documents to figure out what kind of tidbits could be used to build a basic piece of enablement material. We're going to do all of that through the Compete Composer and allow you to get started with a base of content that is formatted for sales, that is actionable, that is digestible, and ultimately that you can go through and actually quickly improve, validate, and publish. So without any further ado, why don't we show you what this looks like? Imagine today you come into the Compete Composer via this AI builder piece up here. All you have to do is select a competitor that you want to create something on. Let's call this, basic battle card 1. Select a hypothetical competitor, and then you're going to choose what cards you want. We're starting with some foundational cards that are a good bedrock of information for any salesperson coming in to understand who this competitor is and how I need to either defend against them or where I need to push to make sure that we beat them. And in addition to that, you can then go in and add your own files. Again, you can upload analyst reports, win-loss reports done outside of Klue. You can add in product sheets, any intel that your team has gotten that you would typically scan through to help build a battle card. You can do that here. Once you've done all that, you just click generate, and then it will go, and I have already done that. Great. It will start generating. Klue AI will get to work. And what it's going to do is it's going to generate content like this. This will take between 15 and 45 seconds to do the entire thing, depending on the amount of complexity, the amount of information, all that kind of stuff. And within the system, you can scan through and then go and review all of the cards all in one place very, very quickly. And not only can you go through and you can validate, you can inspect, you can improve and tweak what you want. We think it's much better to start from a baseline of information and then go in and iterate versus you having to start from scratch. But you can also do all this with a new editor. We know that editor pains are a challenge that a lot of curators have, it's something that a lot of curators have commented on over the years. We've implemented a new editor and supported this feature. This is going to be the first place that is implemented in Klue, and this will be rolled out in additional places throughout Klue over the coming quarters. So once you go through and you review these cards, all you have to do is click send to board. And then it's actually going to let you go and either preview it in the consumer experience or jump into the curator view where you can update permissions, to make it more granular. You can edit the content further, that kind of stuff. For today, we're just going to go through, we're going to look at it in the consumer experience. And this is an actual output from this. This is how it will look. And you can go through and, again, go from having to find that competitor just like minutes or an hour before through to something that you can put in front of your sales team much, much faster than it would take you to do this, both, through creating cards and assembling a battle card in Klue today, but also just having to do all this research outside of Klue and to figure out what could be used to build this material. We want to take a lot of that load off your hands. And obviously, this is just a first pass. This design, the system, this is all going to iterate very, very quickly over the coming months. We're very excited to get this in front of people. And again, it's going to be a closed beta, and then we're opening it up to a wait list or adding people from the wait list into the beta program over the next 30 to 45 days. So if you are interested, put your name into the link in the chat or talk to your CSM. Very excited to get this rolled out. And really, this is just kind of taste of how Klue is thinking about AI content and leveraging the insights that we're developing to make the creation, maintenance, and publication of continuous insights for your sales team as painless as possible. Back to you.
Thank you, Taylor. So excited to see this launch tomorrow. Can't wait. Next, we're going to turn it over to Jessica, who is our product manager for integrations, to walk you through what we've been focused on there.
Thanks, Tamara. Where competitive revenue analytics and win-loss provide a lagging indicator for competitors in your deals, sales calls are great leading indicators to inform your prioritization of competitive enablement efforts. Coming up in beta as soon as next week, we are releasing Gong competitor trends and mentions to enable you to track what buyers say about competitors in sales calls. In beta, you'll be able to track those mentions by week, and that will help with prioritization of the enablement efforts. You'll be able to review snippets for more context on those mentions, grouped by competitor. You'll also be able to configure your aliases or Gong misspellings for better analysis. And of course, you can jump straight into the relevant Gong snippets that you want more info on or want to share in battle cards. This will save you a lot of time for all Gong customers starting as soon as next week. And we're not stopping at Gong. So please tell us where your sales call recordings are stored so we can better prioritize for the next call of recording integrations coming up. Here's a first look at sales call insights. This top chart shows you the competitor mentions over time, so you can easily compare and contrast between different competitors such as Square and PayPal in this example. This has been by week, and you can also filter down to specific competitors that you want to compare and contrast, as well as the different deal stages that the call took place in. This, again, is just the buyer's mentions, so this is the third party within the sales calls that mentioned the competitor. You can use this chart to be able to show sales like, hey, here's why I'm prioritizing a certain competitor over others, and also ensure that they're aware of the battle cards that you've already built for Adyen, perhaps in this example, that they should focus on because it's coming up so often within their calls. And scrolling down here, you can see the different calls that have competitor mentions in them. You can see them by competitor as well, and using these filters above, you can drill down to specific analysis that you want to do. If you only had 15 minutes, perhaps you would review, like, let's say within the last 2 weeks, what are the top competitor mentions or top calls with competitor mentions rather. And clicking into these, you have the specific Gong snippets where those mentions took place. Again, this is mentions from the buyer, and if you needed more context, you can easily click through and play that Gong snippet to get that context for your analysis. From here, you can share it within a Klue battle card, perhaps add it to a digest, and even share it to Slack and Teams. So we're looking forward to more feedback from our beta customers for the next iterations of our sales call insights. This is just the first slice. If you're a Gong customer, look forward to the early access invite in the next couple weeks. And then also for any customers that are not yet using Gong or perhaps use a different recording tool, please let us know which ones you're assessing and which ones you use so that we can ensure that the right ones are put into our hopper.
Thank you, Jessica. Next up, we're going to flip it back to Kevin for some updates on what we've actually been doing within the existing win-loss product.
Okay, so a couple of quick features that we released here in the past couple of months. These are both in direct response to feedback that we've received from customers on the win-loss platform in Q4 of last year. So very specifically, there was a lot of asks for more ability to share content that was coming out of the application. So while locking things down to curators made sense at the start, being able to get and distribute reports inside of the organization was something that we heard a lot of. So we have recently released this download report as PDF button. So any interview report that exists in the Klue application today, you do have the ability to log in, navigate to that, and you will find a handy download as PDF button in the top right-hand corner, which makes that easy to share within the organization. And then on the next slide, one of the things that we also heard about is the need for additional access or consumer access to the win-loss module. So today it is locked down, or I guess yesterday it was locked down to curators in the application. And what we've done is we've added two controls. So A, you can add all consumers inside the app to the win-loss module so that they can navigate all of your interviews and charts and boards. Or you have the ability to turn that on for a very specific user. So if you just want to enable it for a couple of executive stakeholders without giving them full curator permissions in the application, you can do that today. In addition to this, We've removed some of the editing features for consumers in the application, so they won't be able to create cards and boards. And when we have buyer pulse, they won't be able to go through and initiate survey or outreach. So we'll continue to maintain a style of read-only access. And then finally, on the horizon, also coming this year, is the ability to target programs to visibility groups, which will give you another layer of control over whom can come in and access the win-loss data. So these are both just quick hits, but they should make it a lot easier to share the research findings inside the company.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm going to turn it over to myself to talk about the consumer experience a little bit. So a couple things that we've been working on behind the scenes that are a little bit more experimental. We talked about in the vision slides around Compete GPT, which is our vision for the future of how consumers access the content within Klue. Our first foray into this space is what we call Ask Klue. And this has actually been in beta for a number of months. We're kind of like bringing it back and doing some improvements on it now. But this is a generative AI-based ask and answer interface. It lives on top of all of your Klue card content and your news content, and only shows up for consumers and allows them to ask questions directly of Klue. So this is currently in beta. Drop your name in the chat if you'd like to get access and try this out, either on the curator side so that you can see what it does, or for consumers. What I find really exciting about this is, this is experimental. This is about learning for us, really, how will consumers actually use this information. And what we've been able to glean so far with, a limited subset of customers and smaller group of consumers that are using it is some really interesting directional information around what types of questions salespeople are actually asking. And so it's been really useful to be able to dig into how do they think about accessing this information? What types of things are they directly looking for? And what can we take from that to actually inform our development in this space as we build out a more fulsome sort of Compete GPT? So big things that, I pulled out of the data, 34% of folks, or 34% of the questions really have been comparison questions. So how do we compare to Slack? Or how does HubSpot compare to Marketo? And really looking for an us against them or a multi-competitor type comparison. So fairly straightforward. The second biggest bucket is kind of unsurprising for us, maybe surprising for you, but is that we see the same thing in search in Klue. Huge chunk of our consumers literally just put in a company name. They just say Salesforce. And they're hoping through the magic of AI, we will know exactly what they mean. This is a great opportunity for us because the interesting thing about having a Gen AI chatbot basically sitting on top of this is we want to actually be able to prompt them for more information. What is it about Salesforce that you actually want to know? Are you trying to access battle cards? Do you have a specific question? Are you looking for a comparison? And how does that help us, inform what we need to give folks moving forward? The third biggest bucket is really weaknesses. So what are the downsides of this competitor? What are the challenges with this competitor? What are their weaknesses? And then the fourth one is, why are we winning against a particular competitor? I like to look at this from the lens of, salespeople are internal optimists. They never ask about competitor strengths, and they never ask why they're losing, but they're very interested in competitor weaknesses, and they're very interested in why they are winning, so they can double down on that information. And then the last big bucket in here is search. People effectively just using it as a search interface, right? Putting keywords in and expecting a response back. So it's interesting watching how that sort of transitions as sort of chat type tools become more prolific within the space. But also we're leveraging this to think about how does this inform Klue's development moving forward. And then the other piece that's really experimental for us is around LLMs. So not everybody, but many of our customers are starting to get into this space of, hey, we're developing this tool internally, or we're building an LLM, or we're trying to centralize all of our knowledge. We're building enterprise search, and really looking at how do we bring together all of the information that we have inside our company into one interface where folks can ask questions and get useful answers back. And so we're experimenting with a number of our customers on exposing Klue content via APIs. They're experimental today, but being plugged into customer systems so that we and they can learn what works, what we need, how we need to actually surface that content, and how we can best actually serve it up tomorrow. Because you don't want a centralized search system that excludes all of your compete content, right? We need our Klue content plugged in there as well. So if this is something your company is actually looking to do, if there's chatter internally around sort of centralization or building out these systems, hit us up. We are happy to both share what we have today, but also learn from what your team is trying to do. One more on the consumer side before I jump into a quick demo, which is most of you will have spent time in the consumer side of Klue, and you'll know that we actually have a redundancy in Klue right now. So we've surfaced the news that you're sharing in the consumer dashboard. We've also surfaced that news within consumer boards, and that's actually redundant to the feed tab that's at the top of Klue, and which is sort of in our old interface and being deprecated. So we're working over the next few weeks to actually hide that feed tab and just have consumers rely on the news that we're actually surfacing in a more fulsome way. So stay tuned for that change coming soon. And with that, let me jump over here and do a quick demo of Ask Klue. Give me a bulleted list of Slack's weaknesses. Let's see what I get. So this is, again, looking at all of the content that's sitting within my Klue space. This is the demo space, so don't take this as the written word on Slack and their weaknesses. We love Slack here at Klue. But what this has done is looked at all of that content. It summarized it. It said, this is sort of our list that we can, discern of weaknesses for Slack. This actually gives you all of the sources of that information. So this is actually card content within Klue. I can click right into this overview card, for example, and jump in, and this is actually the quick dismiss card, right? And so you saw some of these summarized up in those bullets, and I can get down and actually get to, more information specifically about this question. So that is Ask Klue. And with that, let's jump over to Isabel for an update on competitive analytics within Klue.
Awesome. Thanks, Tamara. So as you all know, we have competitive revenue analytics right now, which is our existing suite of products, reports, to measure and maximize your impact on revenue. So this suite of reports that we have right now should help you not only identify current and emerging threats, quantify your competitive revenue gap, but also hopefully get a seat at the executive table by demonstrating your impact on revenue. On that note, though, in the coming days, we are introducing a new report in beta to help you understand the impact of your efforts. More specifically, answering questions like, what did I do? What happened based on those efforts? How do I know if I'm doing a good job? So with this new report, it hopefully will aim to help you understand the outcome of your competitive enablement efforts. This report should help you not only prioritize your efforts by understanding the work that has been done in Klue, and as a result, the competitive revenue gap it has closed, but also help you get visibility into how Klue usage relates to your organization's deal cycles. And with that, I will present to you a demo. So this new report covers the main question of how did I do? Did I do a good job from my competitive enablement program? So this new report includes, out of all my competitive revenue won, what percent of Klue was involved and what percent of my competitive revenue gap was Klue not involved in. With this new report, you're also able to drill down by competitor. So you're able to basically see Klue involvement by competitor. And we also have provided the ability for you to drill down into specific metrics now. So once you click on the view more, you're also able to see which relevant board was accessed by the deal owner, and out of all the competitors, what was the total win against the Klue involved win as well. Furthermore, we now let you have the chance to be able to essentially look at top deals with Klue and top deals without Klue. For those top deals with Klue, you're now able to look at the boards that were used within those specific deals as well, so that you can double click on that and be able to essentially ask the question of what did I do right, so that you can use that strategy into the rest of your content. And then you're also able to look into the specific content itself as well. Which of my content are performing the most in deals or being used the most in deals? And also, what are the total views to that? You're also able to take a look at your top deal owners. So taking a look at which owner has the biggest competitive revenue won, and then also which of your top deal owners have the biggest revenue won with Klue, so that you can reach out to them and take actionable next steps to improve your competitive enablement program. And you're Also able to basically filter based on the time range that you want. And this specific report, just to mention, it's going into closed beta. So eventually, based on the feedback that we get from this closed beta, we will maybe open it up to an open beta. So if you're interested in a report like this, please reach out to your CSM. And if not, if you have opinions, feedback, thoughts about what Klue Involved looks like, or just any other feedback about our competitive revenue analytics, please feel free to reach out to our team, because we're always open to feedback and always looking to find ways to iterate more on it. Thanks.
Thank you, Isabel. Let's turn it back over to Taylor, who's going to talk to us a little bit about some other tools we've been working on the curator side to help you make your job a little more efficient.
Thanks, Tamara, and welcome back, everyone. Very excited just to share a few of the things that we have improved in the platform over the past couple of weeks, and improvements that are on the near horizon. So the first thing we added into Klue was this content freshness view. This is available top bar of every board, and it gives you an ability to see in a kind of a heat map style what cards in a board have been recently updated or reviewed, to go in, to expand the cards, and to quickly review them, and ultimately give curators a tool to help stay on top of content, to see what in this board has actually aged, or what do we just need to take a look at to make sure that this is still all relevant to consumers, making sure that they can be relying on this, and ultimately just stay on top of content a bit easier. The second thing that we've done is we added in this ability to update alert titles. This is something that was previously available or possible in the digest, but it meant that changes there didn't flow through to dashboard news or board news. And it meant that when you were triaging intel, if you wanted to have a more descriptive or just a better title for a piece of intel that was brought in, you couldn't do that. And we want to make that possible. We want to make all those actions possible right in alerts, so that you don't have to go to multiple places to do it. And that is what this has now enabled. So go in and try this out next time you're in alerts. It is great. Third is it's now possible to save empty views within the saved view function in alerts. This was a bit of a workflow quirk beforehand, and it meant that even if you wanted to track something that was low volume but high impact, let's say like specific M&A news for this competitor group, if there wasn't already alerts matching that, you couldn't set it up. We fixed this. You can go in now and create an alert for any set of filters, even if there's no alerts that match it. So what's coming up? On the horizon for the next 2 weeks is we're shipping a feature within alerts that will make it possible to go in and see alerts that have been processed by others. So this will make it a lot easier, particularly for those who are for curators working in large companies where you actually have the same competitor that you're tracking, but for different purposes, different solutions, that kind of stuff. There's sometimes a fear or concern of, I don't know if someone else has processed or reviewed intel that may be related to this that I missed. This will let you go in, filter to alerts that have already been processed by others. And you can even combine this with save views to have kind of a permanent view of alerts processed on others by this topic or this board or what have you. So we're excited to get this out into the world and make ultimately working with other curators on shared competitors a lot easier. Next, we are improving our digest suggestions logic. So there's been a longstanding feature in Klue that allows you to add a certain number of articles in automatically to the digest. This has not been a particularly smart piece of functionality, and from a kind of logic standpoint. And there's been a lot of improvements in Klue to how we rank and analyze alerts over the past year and a half that this feature will allow us to take advantage of. This is going live this week. It will, I believe, tomorrow. And it will, if you have this feature enabled already, it will simply roll into this new functionality. And if you don't have this enabled, I'd suggest you go in and try it out. It ultimately, combined with the ability to add filters in, filtering down to specific competitors or topics that you want to populate that digest, this should make it a lot easier to curate your digest every week without having to put nearly as much work into figuring out what articles should you or should you not include. Give you a much better starting point and make it possible to keep your team informed with a lot less effort. Next is over the coming month, we're going to be targeting a rich text editor within alerts. Again, this is just about making sure that the work that's being done throughout Klue right now, you can do it at the point of processing intel. So you can add formatting, images, that kind of stuff right in the way it matters within alerts and have that carry through to the rest of Klue, including dashboard news and board news, which is where a lot of consumers are getting their information. Second, last but not least, is we are going to be updating our extension. Google has some changes coming to their extension programming language. That means that we have to, all legacy extension pieces will have to be updated by the summer. And we're taking this as an opportunity to improve the consumer extension to make it possible for initial search results to appear directly in the extension, and then for folks to go to that card in Klue, as well as align the curator view more with the way that alerts is actually working now, and key functionality that curators want to take all the time, such as turning page monitoring on or adding items to the digest directly from the extension. You'll be hearing more about this from your CSMs in the coming month to a month and a half, but we are targeting availability for this updated extension by June. And last but not least is starting tomorrow, we are rolling out curator navigation changes for the vast majority of accounts. This is being done for two main reasons. The first is that as Klue has added more and more feature functionality and modules over the past year, the complexity of our navigation has not really kept pace, and we want to make it more intuitive for curators to find what they're looking for today, including the awesome insights and win-loss modules that Kevin and Elaine have talked about. Second is that we have an ambitious roadmap for the next year. We're going to be adding more functionality in Klue, and we want to make sure that the navigation structure and our information architecture can adapt to fit that vision and fit what's coming up. So without any further ado, why don't we just go directly into a demo of a few of those items. So the first thing is the digest suggestions. If you're in the digest, all you have to do is go to this gear icon, and you'll see it here. You can go through and you can say, I want items only for our collaboration tool competitors. Great. And I have said, I only want product update information. So this is going to be a product update digest about that competitor group. And that's what's going to be recommended to me every week. Again, if you don't have this enabled, I'd recommend going in, taking a look, giving it a try. We believe that it will help make the curation of every digest a lot easier. Two of the things on the board level that are worth noting. One, which I did not include in the slides, which is very exciting. We have a lot of folks who are frustrated by the vertical space here. It's kind of hard. There's these hard limits to kind of maintain the editing space. Now, if you want more editing, real estate, just click the full screen button. It'll move it to the full vertical width or full vertical height of your screen, make it possible to do edits in a larger space while still keeping it, relatively constrained to the size that cards will appear in stacker view. And last but not least, in terms of our demo today, is the ability to go in and edit alerts. All you have to do is click on the alert. And if at any point you want to go back to the original, no problem. Hit revert, go back, you're all set. That's everything in terms of a quick demo features. We appreciate everyone sticking in there and going through, and as well for all the feedback and stuff that led to these changes. And hope everyone has a good day.
Thank you, Taylor. And with that wraps up a very comprehensive product webinar. Really excited for everything that is, recently released, about to be released, lots of new innovation and exciting things coming at the end of this quarter, early next quarter. And really excited for everything that the team is planning on delivering through 2024. It's going to be a really exciting year, so bear with us. With that, drop any questions in the chat, chime in. We're happy to answer. Remember, we solicited volunteers for, I don't know how many betas within this webinar, but if you're interested in Ask Klue, in Buyer Pulse, in the Compete Composer, drop your name in, let us know, and we're happy to gather early feedback and turn these things on for you so you can play around and start taking a look at the future.
Hi there, my name is Kevin. I'm the product manager here at Klue for our win-loss software, and I wanted to take a couple minutes with you to just go over the application and how that works today. So under the Discover menu, you will access win-loss. This is available to all-in-one customers. If you are just using Klue for win-loss only, then you will be greeted with this page as your home screen. What we're looking at now is your program overview. So what we do is we give you immediate access to the top trends that are coming out of your research for the reasons why you're winning and losing. We provide you with access to the most recently completed interviews. And then we also give you access to some featured highlights here that align with the learning objectives that your research director and you have agreed upon. From here, we can jump deeper into the themes that are available in the application. So we expand upon the win and loss reasons, giving you insights into positive and negative sentiment around product, pricing, sales, as well as a number of other criteria that were used during the purchasing decision. Anytime we're met with a bar graph or this themes page, we do have the ability to apply filters. So we can slice this information by a specific sales segment or region, who won the deal or who was in the deal. We have quick access to the underlying buyer feedback and quote for any one of these trends. And we can use Klue's AI to summarize the key feedback and points from the trends to give us a synopsis of what the buyer feedback is. Additionally, with any of these pieces of buyer feedback, we can copy the text, and for all-in-one customers, you can initiate a card creation workflow directly from a highlight and put that onto a specific competitor's board. In addition to this, you have full access to all of the interviews that have been conducted by the research team. Going into an interview, we'll be presented with the opportunity metadata. We can quickly download and save this as a PDF. We have our key findings report as well as our interview Q&A down at the bottom. And then finally, we also have competitor feeds. So we can create, in collaboration with your research director, a specific head-to-head view for a competitor that you're looking to get more intel about. So these will be positive and negative feedbacks that are extracted specifically for that competitor. Again, I can summarize these quickly using Klue AI and get the synopsis. And then anytime I see a piece of feedback, I can click through and I can follow that to the source report. So we've got much more fun stuff that we're going to talk about with regards to win-loss during Klue Quarterly, including our upcoming surveys feature. But thank you for taking a couple of minutes with me to have a look at the application.